When we think about the history of economics, the same names immediately come to mind: Adam Smith, Karl Marx, and if we go further back, Aristotle. But there is actually a truth that often gets overlooked. And this truth sits quietly in the worn pages of the Middle Ages. About 1,000 years ago, there was neither capitalism nor central banks nor the complex financial systems we have today. Yet a Muslim thinker managed to capture the essence of almost every economic crisis we experience today in a single sentence. When money loses its moral dimension, society rots from the inside. When we look at today's world, we realize how familiar this sounds. To understand Ghazali, we don't need to imagine a world completely detached from our own. The year is around 1100. Europe is still poor and fragmented. But the Islamic world, Baghdad, Damascus, Cairo, are filled with trade, knowledge, and wealth. Caravans are constantly coming and going. Markets are overflowing. Money is flowing and wealth is growing. And it is exactly here that a problem begins. Ghazali senses that something is wrong within this wealth that everyone dreams of. Society is becoming richer, but at the same time it is losing its meaning. Money is increasing, but peace is fading. And he asks himself a very simple, yet deeply unsettling question. What happens when a society becomes rich faster than it becomes wise? What made Ghazali special was this: he was not concerned only with religious matters. He took money, trade, and markets very seriously. But he looked at money not like an economist, but like a human being. To him, money was not something to be worshipped, not something to be accumulated and locked away, not a symbol of power. It was simply a tool. He compared money to a mirror. The value of a mirror is not in the glass itself, but in what it reflects. Money is the same. Its true value lies in enabling people to produce, to trade, and to build a life together. That is why, he said, money that does not circulate is dead money. Wealth locked away in a chest, hidden out of fear, serves no one. It creates no jobs for workers. It brings no life to trade. It does not nourish society. On the contrary, it clogs the veins of the economy. The problem is not a lack of resources. The problem is that money does not move. Isn't this exactly the core of what we today call inequality? One of the issues Ghazali was most uncompromising about was speculation. Those who profit from crises, those who manipulate prices, those who create artificial shortages. He did not see these people as clever merchants, but as morally corrupt individuals. Because to him, profiting from another person's suffering is a form of decay. And this decay is contagious. It starts in one place, then spreads to the market, infects institutions, and eventually traps everyone. But Ghazali was not against trade, nor was he against profit. On the contrary, he believed that honest trade is what keeps a society standing. If there is no lying, no cheating, no false weights, no hiding of defects, then the market functions. Because the economy stands on trust. When trust disappears, both money and the system collapse. When it came to states, he was even clearer. He had no tolerance for rulers manipulating money, reducing the gold or silver content of coins, what we would today call creating inflation. He openly called this theft, because it hits the poor the hardest, destroys trust, rots the system from within. According to Ghazali, what destroys a country is not external enemies but unjust rulers. And in the end, he arrived at this conclusion. A society can survive poverty, but it cannot survive corruption. Collapse does not come when money runs out. Collapse comes when people stop trusting one another. Money, at its core, is a belief. When that belief disappears, everyone looks out only for themselves. People abandoning their own currency today and turning to foreign ones is the very same phenomenon. Ghazali's real strength lay here. He did not see the economy as a machine, but as a reflection of human nature. Human beings fear. They become greedy. They seek easy gains. If a system feeds these impulses, that system will eventually collapse. That is why Ghazali said, if you want to fix the economy, you must first fix people and the incentives that shape them. When we look at today's world, debt, bubbles, distrust, inequality, we see that a warning voiced 1,000 years ago is still valid. Ghazali's message was not complicated. If money becomes detached from morality, the system cannot stand. This is not a sermon. It is a truth that history has confirmed hundreds of times. And history does not forgive those who refuse to learn its lesson.